Imagine a mist-shrouded mountain where legend has it that Moses, one of history's greatest prophets, took his last breath. Beneath its shadow, among ancient rocks, lies a mystery that has perplexed humanity for millennia: the tomb of Moses. What if someone claimed to have found it, and what lay inside was not only astonishing, but terrifying? The search began with Josh Gates, a modern-day adventurer and explorer whose name is synonymous with uncovering the impossible. Armed with advanced technology, drones, ground-penetrating radar, and underwater imaging, Gates and his team embarked on a mission to find what many believed was unfindable. Their journey took them to the Sea of Galilee, a region steeped in biblical history and whispered legends of Moses' final resting place. Beneath the waters of this storied lake, they discovered something extraordinary: a massive circular stone structure. It was ancient and perfectly preserved, resembling a burial cairn, a type of tomb that ancient people used to honor the dead. The team's excitement was palpable as they began their meticulous investigation. The enormous basalt stone structure stood over 30 feet tall and 230 feet in diameter. Its sheer size suggested a purpose far greater than an ordinary burial site. They carefully retrieved artifacts scattered around the cairn and dated them to a time that matched Moses' life, more than 3,000 years ago. As they worked, the magnitude of their find began to sink in. This could be the final resting place of one of history's greatest figures. But as the team dug deeper, both physically and metaphorically, an eerie tension began to settle over the expedition. The cairn seemed to exude an almost otherworldly presence, as though it was guarding something sacred. Symbols and markings on the stones hinted at rituals and practices long lost to history. Local legends, passed down through generations, spoke of a prophet buried under divine protection. These stories, once dismissed as folklore, began to feel unnervingly real. The discoveries only heightened the sense of unease. We recovered pottery shards, tools, and ancient relics, but the site seemed to resist disturbance. It wasn't just an archaeological find. It felt like a place suspended between worlds, where history and faith intersected in a way no one could fully comprehend. News of the discovery began to spread, stirring a mixture of awe and anxiety among religious communities. For Josh Gates and his team, every step forward brought new challenges. As they delved deeper, the atmosphere grew heavier, as if they were trespassing on a secret. What they had hoped would be a clear answer to one of history's greatest mysteries was instead raising more questions. The implications were enormous. He is not just a figure in history. He is a cornerstone of belief for billions of people across Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His story transcends time, teaching lessons of faith, freedom, and resilience. Uncovering his tomb could unite people in wonder or divide them in debate. As the team persevered in their work, it became evident that they were not merely uncovering stones and artifacts. They were confronting the weight of millennia, the whispers of a story etched in both history and faith. The journey to uncover Moses' tomb was not merely a search for a grave. It was an exploration of humanity's deepest questions about the sacred, the unknown, and the power of belief. According to biblical tradition, he climbed Mount Nebo, gazed upon the Promised Land, and passed away there around 1271 BCE. Unbelievably, God himself buried Moses in an unidentified location. The scriptures explicitly state that no one has ever discovered his grave. For centuries, this veil of secrecy has intrigued explorers, historians, and believers alike. Biblical legends have long connected the Sea of Galilee, the largest freshwater lake in Israel. Gates believed this area, rich in history and ancient traditions, held untapped secrets. By October 2018, the team's efforts bore fruit. Using satellite imagery and GPR, they identified a submerged circular structure beneath the Sea of Galilee's waters. Constructed of large basalt stones, this ancient cairn measured an astonishing 230 feet in diameter and 32 feet in height. Its purpose and origin were unclear, but its scale hinted at ceremonial importance, possibly linked to burial practices. The structure displayed a deliberate construction, with its carefully arranged stones forming a circular mound. Ancient people often used cairns like this to mark graves or honor the dead, making it a significant find. The team dove into the site, braving murky waters and strong currents to examine the submerged cairn. Weeks of painstaking work revealed pottery shards and ancient tools scattered around the structure. Carbon dating placed these artifacts roughly 3,200 years ago, aligning them with Moses' lifetime. As the team probed deeper, the atmosphere grew heavy with unease. The cairn's sheer size and intentional construction seemed to guard something important, something sacred. It felt as though they were trespassing on hallowed ground. Local legends only added to the tension. Generations passed down stories of a prophet buried in secret and protected by divine forces. These tales, once dismissed as folklore, began to feel chillingly plausible. Advanced technology played a critical role in the investigation. Ground-penetrating radar allowed the team to map the cairn's internal structure without disturbing its integrity. High-resolution drones provided sweeping aerial views, helping identify other possible clues in the surrounding landscape. The findings depicted a site associated with rituals and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to a person of immense significance. The story of him is a cornerstone for three of the world's major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His life, leadership, and legacy transcend time, uniting billions through shared values of faith, perseverance, and divine justice. To uncover a place that might hold his remains is more than an archaeological or historical achievement. It strikes at the heart of deeply held beliefs and sacred traditions. In Judaism, he is more than a prophet. He is the lawgiver, the leader who freed the Israelites from Egyptian bondage and brought them to the brink of the Promised Land. His teachings, including the Ten Commandments, serve as the foundation of Jewish ethics and law. The Torah, considered the most sacred text in Judaism, recounts the extraordinary journey from the Nile as a rescued infant to Mount Sinai, where he directly communed with God. The Torah underscores the divine mystery of Moses' unknown burial place, which serves to prevent idolatry. This secrecy adds to his sanctity, making the idea of discovering his tomb both thrilling and unsettling for believers. For Christians, he symbolizes faith in action and unwavering obedience to God. People see his leadership during the Exodus as a precursor to Jesus' mission, symbolizing deliverance and salvation. The New Testament frequently references him, linking his teachings to the fulfillment of prophecy through Christ. Discovering the tomb could ignite debates within Christian theology as it raises questions about physical proof versus spiritual belief. While Christianity values historical artifacts, it also places significant weight on faith without evidence. A tangible link to him could challenge this dynamic, deepening the mystery surrounding his legacy. In Islam, Moses, known as Musa, is one of the most frequently mentioned prophets in the Quran. His story highlights themes of divine guidance, perseverance, and unwavering trust in Allah's plan. For Muslims, Musa's journey is a reminder of God's justice and mercy. Islamic traditions also suggest that Musa's final resting place lies near Jericho, at the shrine of Nabi Musa in the Judean desert. This site has been a place of pilgrimage for centuries, drawing worshippers who seek blessings and spiritual connection. The discovery of another potential burial site could disrupt long-standing traditions and create tension between historical findings and religious teachings. The mystery surrounding the burial is deeply symbolic. By concealing his tomb, Scripture places emphasis on his role as a servant of God rather than a figure of worship. His life was a journey of faith and humility, and his death followed the same path. For many believers, the notion of uncovering his final resting place stirs conflicting emotions. On one hand, it's an opportunity to deepen historical understanding. On the other, it's a disruption of something meant to remain sacred. The secrecy of the tomb also serves as a unifying thread across religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam may interpret his story differently, but they all agree on his unparalleled importance. The discovery of a burial site linked to Moses could either bridge these perspectives or fuel further debate. The religious significance of potential burial sites like Nabi Musa in Islam or Mount Nebo in Christianity underscores how closely faith and geography are intertwined. Nabi Musa, built in the 13th century, has become a revered shrine for Muslims, hosting annual pilgrimages filled with prayer, reflection, and celebration. Similarly, Mount Nebo is a key pilgrimage destination for Christians, where believers gather to commemorate Moses and his view of the Promised Land. For Jews, the story is spiritually tied to Mount Sinai and the desert journey, rather than a physical grave. The absence of a known burial site reinforces the belief that Moses belongs to all generations, his lessons unbound by a single location. The discovery of a tangible grave could shift this dynamic, drawing new attention to places once considered mere legend. One aspect often overlooked in the discussion about the tomb is the potential cultural and geopolitical implications of its discovery. If the burial site were ever definitively located, the consequences would extend far beyond religious and archaeological circles. Such a discovery could shift global attention to the region where it's found, likely influencing tourism, religious pilgrimages, and even international relations. Moreover, the discovery of artifacts or inscriptions associated with the tomb could offer unprecedented insights into the Late Bronze Age, a period crucial for understanding the historical roots of the Exodus narrative. Such findings could either affirm or challenge existing interpretations of biblical history, reshaping scholarly discussions about the timeline and cultural context of Moses' life. One prevailing interpretation among Jewish and Christian scholars is that the hidden nature of the tomb serves as a safeguard against idolatry. In ancient times, the graves of revered figures often became places of pilgrimage, veneration, and even deification. For him, whose relationship with God was unparalleled, the risk of his grave becoming a shrine of excessive worship or superstition was immense. By concealing his resting place, the scriptures ensured that he would remain a servant of God in the eyes of believers rather than being elevated to divine status himself. This interpretation resonates deeply with the second commandment delivered by Moses himself. "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven, above or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below." Exodus 24 NIV. The absence of a physical site to honor him aligns with this core tenet, discouraging practices that could divert attention from God's teachings and laws. His hidden tomb also underscores his singular role in history. Among the prophets, he holds a distinct position. He is the only prophet described as having spoken to God face to face, Deuteronomy 34:10, a level of intimacy with the divine that sets him apart. By withholding the location of his burial, Scripture emphasizes that Moses' significance lies not in his physical remains, but in his spiritual accomplishments and his unique relationship with God. This narrative also elevates his role as a teacher and a guide. His legacy is not tied to a specific place, but is carried forward in the laws and teachings he imparted. The Torah, or the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, is often referred to as the Law of Moses. This text remains central to Jewish worship and ethics, reinforcing the idea that Moses' contributions transcend time and space. The search for the tomb is more than a pursuit of history. It's a journey into the heart of human spirituality and curiosity. For thousands of years, the mystery of his burial site has defied discovery, leaving a profound silence where answers might have been. This silence is not empty, it is brimming with meaning, inviting reflection on why some stories are destined to remain mysteries. Throughout history, countless efforts have been made to locate his final resting place. Explorers have braved deserts, scaled mountains, and probed underwater ruins, hoping to uncover the truth. Despite their dedication and the growing sophistication of archaeological tools, the site remains undiscovered. This enduring mystery, rather than diminishing the story, enhances its power. It ensures that Moses is remembered not for where he is buried, but for what he stood for: freedom, faith, and the moral foundation of societies across the globe. If you are enjoying this story, consider supporting us with a super thanks. By contributing, you're helping us continue sharing powerful content. His burial was an act of divine secrecy, a detail carefully preserved by the scriptures. By withholding the location, the story shifts its focus from the physical to the spiritual. Moses' life was never about self-glorification. It was about guiding people toward a higher truth. His unknown tomb becomes a symbol of humility, a reflection of his role as a servant of God rather than a figure of worship. This deliberate concealment reminds us that the essence of faith often lies in what cannot be seen. While modern explorations have brought new discoveries and deeper insights, the hidden tomb has resisted even the most advanced technology. This resistance challenges humanity's tendency to quantify and categorize everything. Some truths, it seems, are meant to remain elusive. This is not a flaw in our understanding, but a deliberate invitation to embrace the unknown. The absence of a physical resting place also reaffirms the universality of the legacy. By denying us a specific location, the narrative ensures that he belongs not to a single group or region, but to all humanity. His story transcends time and space, teaching lessons that remain relevant in every generation. The hidden tomb keeps the focus on his teachings, his courage, and his relationship with the divine, qualities that continue to inspire billions. As explorers and scholars continue their quests, they remind us of the value of seeking, even when answers remain out of reach. The journey itself is a reflection of human nature, driven by the desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. The search for the tomb is not just about uncovering the past, it's about understanding how faith, history, and the unknown shape our present and future. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video.